7, 5. It's spinning. Are we there? Welcome to our Creator Studio session. I just wanted to make sure that everybody can hear us and see us. If you could just give us a thumbs up in the chat if we're all good. No feedback in the chat yet.
No.
If anybody can just post in the chat that you can hear us or see us. Thank you, Julia. Perfect. All right, well, welcome. I am going to pass this over to Jaima, our Peekaboo Yearbooks business manager. She's going to show you around Creator Studio, show you some excellent tips and tricks. And then I'm very excited. She is going to, for the first time, show our new version of our people pages that we've been working very, very hard on all summer, that will be launched in production about September, October for everybody to use a brand new people page builder in Creator Studio. If you've used Creator Studio, you will see a lot of new things. And if you haven't seen Creator Studio, you will see even more new things. So I'll pass it over to Jaima now to take this demo.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jaima Finn with Peekaboo Yearbooks. If you weren't on the brand intro yesterday, I have been here since 2012, and I have shared a little agenda over what we're going to go over today. But we are going to take a look at Creator Studio, and this is a platform that is open for anybody to jump in and explore. So I hope after you get a tour, if you haven't looked around before, I do have a little poll I'll put out to see if we've got some new folks on here or folks that have already published a book with us. So let me see if I can test my polls really quick. I think you're going to see an infinity screen though here. And let's see.
I can watch her.
Okay, are you able to see it too?
Yeah.
Okay, great, awesome. So I'm gonna drop this down then, but I'm gonna put a little question out there to see if anybody has checked out the program before. This is how you get to Creator Studio from our main website here at peekabooyearbooks.com. If you click the sign in button over here.
You're sharing the wrong screen, Jaima. Sorry, there you go, perfect.
Okay, was there a delay?
Yeah.
Or okay. If you don't have an account already, it's easy to click sign up for a new account here. We don't ask for much information, just your name, email, and create a password. I will point out this is also how your teammates will sign up after they've been invited. They'll go through the same process to come here and create an account as well. So since I already have an account, I'm going to go ahead and sign in to my account. And hallelujah for LastPass. I am a member of several organizations, so you can have multiple organizations that you work with and then multiple projects inside of an organization. So if I wanted to create a new project at any time, I can simply come down here and create a blank project. I can also create a project from an existing project. So this is very popular for schools to use from year to year. If they don't want to recreate the wheel, if they want to see that skeleton of the previous year, we do not bring over teammates. We do not bring over portraits or photos. So it's really just your photo folder structure and your ladder from the previous year, but it gives you a little bit of a jump start. So what you would do is you could select any previous book that you wanted to use and give it a title. We do ask for a little bit of information here. Let us know what type of organization you are. And we'll just do a test here and I'll show you what this looks like. And you would put in the estimate page quantity in a book. This is just going to be a sample book. And then when you think you're going to order the book, you could set that here. So once you hit the create button, you're going to see this new project pop up in your library, and it's going to look just like the one that we had started before. So this is the new project that we created. Another thing that you can do is if you want to save your place at any given time, you can copy your project. We also often get schools that do an extended version of their book. Maybe they did a bulk run, but they want to copy that book and add some summer content or maybe graduation. So that's popular to do as well. Or you just want to have versions and save your place. So that's there. So we can create a project blank from a previous project or a straight copy, and that's going to bring all of your pictures and content over as well. Now, for today's purposes, we're going to jump into a book that I've already got some content in, but I would like to also point out here, as we'll get into where we sell the book later, but we also have this great Learn tab where you can get to some recent content, and this gets updated on a regular basis. So that is a resource tab that you can jump into quickly. And I'm going to go ahead and move into the rest of our getting started agenda. If you want to follow along, you can see over here, I am going to take some breaks for questions, but feel free to go ahead and drop those in the chat as you're thinking of them. And then we'll take some pauses and we'll work through some questions that you have. So I'm going to jump into this latter book is our preferred method. We do have what's called a section book, and that's kind of our legacy way of organizing your book. What's really different about it is that you have more control over your photo folders here, and you can just get an aerial view of your book in the first place. So as far as what we do when we first get started, the very first thing we want to do is think about when do we want to have these books on campus. So the first thing we do is work backwards. So our guaranteed turn time is 3 weeks or less. So I always tell people to plan on at least 4 weeks because you need to have a little bit of time to unbox these books, prepare them for distribution, inspect them, let us know if FedEx or UPS dropped a box and bent some corners. That gives us a little time to fix things for you. But if I want to have these books on campus by May 29th, I'm going to count back 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, and I'm going to set that date. So that I have a countdown always running here of my estimated order date. Of course, you're always in control. So if you go past this date, you'll start seeing negative days here. It just lets you know that you're behind and your book may be running late if you don't get that book submitted. Now, this is our main dashboard here where you can get to some different components of your book. So next on the agenda is our photos. So I'm going to pop into here just to show you what this looks like. You can create as many folders as you would like. So we can do an events folder. We can also add subfolders under here. Like if we want to say fall festival, we can have a grouping of folders underneath other folders. Now there is an option to hide folders. So if I want to hide a folder, this is really where I want to keep some content that I don't want maybe the team to see. So it could be, you know, a secret page or something like that I'm working on, but I can hide it and I can always come back down here and show hidden folders. Now, as far as getting photos into the project, what I'm going to do is just click on add photos over here. We do have a variety of ways that you can get content into the yearbook. So if I want to just pull a few pictures in, I'll just grab a couple off my desktop here and then click upload. Now, once these load, I'll just show you a few more options that we have on these. I can edit this yearbook. I can create keywords or tags, and then I'll be able to search across different folders for these tags. This is also a neat feature. If you're missing somebody in the yearbook and maybe mom or dad gave you a picture and you dumped it in over here, it's very easy to search for your people here or convert this photo straight into a portrait photo here. So we'll get more into people pages later, but just wanted to show you that you can quickly make a candid, a portrait from these photo folders here. I can also select these photos. I can hold my shift key down and grab multiple items, and I can move them around here if I would like. Or I can also, delete them or copy them elsewhere. I can also upload my own backgrounds and art. Question?
For keeping things hidden, is there a way to hide the pages on the ladder, or would the hidden folders content show up in the ladder pages anyway?
They would show up. So this is more of like I guess a holding area. But what is also done sometimes is if you want to totally keep that pages hidden from your team, like you don't even want the team to see it, what a lot of people do is create those pages in a different project, and then I'll show you how you can just import those pages when you're ready, and maybe you've kicked out your team members. So we've got some strategies to work around to keep content hidden if it needs to be a surprise. But great question. All right, so another really great way to, we all have that headache of it's so difficult to get people to get photos into the yearbook. I love this contributor photo link. So the contributor photo link is just a link that you can copy. I know at my school, we keep this link in the regular newsletter, and there's always a constant reminder to send photos to the yearbook, especially after an event. So it's just a URL I can paste in here. This is the link that you're going to use to get to the whole school, to crowdsource your pictures. So they don't need to log in. They just need to identify who they are and agree to the end user agreement and that we're not a robot. And then I'll be able to choose photos, and you're going to see a similar process as before. But I'll just grab another photo here from back in the day, and I'm going to upload this, and I'll choose events. Now I could have skipped that step there, so parents don't always choose the right folder. When I was there, you might have noticed that the theme folder had an asterisk in front of it, so that brings it up to the top. I do recommend if you've just had a frequent event, that's a great tip to make sure that folder at the top is the pictures that you're looking for. And I'm just going to put some test notes in here and save it. Now, when I go back to my dashboard, I'm going to see right here that I have a pending photo to review. Now, we will talk about teams and roles, but senior editors and the advisor, which is the project owner, are the ones that can approve the photos to be used for the whole team. So for here, I can decide if I want to approve it or deny this photo, if I want to use it in the book. I can check out the notes. I can also filter for contributors here. Sometimes you get somebody who drops, 1,000 photos on you. So you might want to come through here, filter for somebody, cherry pick the ones that you want to approve, and then you can select all and bulk deny the rest. But I'm going to go ahead and approve this photo and bring it in from my contributor, and then I will be able to always get to my approved. If you do decide to deny something and change your mind later, it would be in this bucket for you to be able to approve and bring back. So let's move on from here. I'm actually also going to take, this is another little trick that I like to do too, is I'll take this contributor photo link, and right here in my photos, if I want to, let's see, I'll put this in the fall festival, just a random spot, but I can create a QR code with that link and add it and upload it. So then I can also put a note on here that this is my contributor photo link. Then I could also save this QR code and maybe drop it on some material that says we want your photos, keep this around campus, make it real easy for folks to get their pictures into the yearbook for you. All right, next step, for getting started is labeling your ladder. So here you can see we do allow you to offer hardcover and softcover. You are able to disable that if you would like. You can also import or copy from one cover to the other. So I'm just gonna go ahead and disable one for now so you can see what that looks like. And then down here is where we can label these pages. Now, this is helpful for two reasons, not only for moving pages around, and I'll show you that in our next grouping, but it also helps you for assigning pages. So if I was going to make this the Fall Festival, I just tabbed to get down to my end, but sorry for that scrolling there. And I'll title it over here. I'll show you when we go to add our team members, which is the last step in getting started, you'll be able to see that it's going to be easier to know what you want to give them. So these are the different roles here. The advisor is the project owner. They are the only ones that are able to manage the storefront and to order the project. The senior editor is going to be able to do everything but ordering and managing the storefront. And then editors are really where your students are going to be. So if we change the role down here to editor, you can see with my page titles here, it's going to make it a lot easier to give page assignments. So I can give them access to the whole book, or I can just give them access to the page that I want them to work on right now, which is recommended in general, or let them finish that, and you can come back in here and let's see, I'll just add myself with my work email here. I'm in my personal account. Can't type today either. And these, I know sometimes schools don't want their students to actually use their real email addresses. You can use a fake email address. They're just not going to get notifications. If you don't want to use a real email address, you can make up one. So now I can see this has a green check. When I see this red envelope, it means my editor hasn't signed in yet. So that's just an identifier there. I can remove editors at any time, and then you can also edit their access to pop back in here and give some different page assignments. So I'm going to take a pause here and just check in to see if we've got any questions that are coming up. All right.
I did launch your poll for have you had success with the contributor photo link? We've had 100% success on there.
It's definitely a time saver. I think it makes it so much easier to get it in there. I did not mention that if I did have an HEIC or HEIC file, it would automatically convert to a JPEG. So the file types that we use are PNG or JPEG.
Does an editor see all of the pages or just the pages that they're assigned to?
They are able to see a thumbnail and see it in the page manager. They just can't access or do anything with it. So it is visible. All right, let's get back in here. So, all right, any more questions before I jump into our next segment, which is going to be designing the yearbook? All right, so let's get back over to the ladder. This is where we're going to be doing the majority of our editing work is on this page. So I can open up and just start from the beginning, and we can flip through the book. So I can see my cover here. Now I will note, we've got these guidelines here for you, but all of these guides that you see can be turned off or on, although I highly recommend keeping them on the cover. And we do have our cover design help right up here. And I really love this 3D preview that is available on the hardcover only, so that you can see what it's going to look like on your book. But this is also a fun place to get a snapshot of your book if you want to use it for marketing. I know sometimes you want to keep that a secret, but if you do want to generate some excitement around the cover once it's decided, this is a great place to take a snapshot. Over here on the left, I can jump around ahead in my book if I want to, but I can also just move from page to page. So I am going to just back out to the ladder right now, and I want to review the different types of pages. So we default to a free form page, and then if I want to convert it to a portrait page, I would need to apply portrait rules to the page. Now I'm going to get more into people pages later, and I'm going to show you some neat things that are coming in our dev environment, but just for example, now I don't have PSPA data uploaded into this project right now because I'm going to go over it in a different project, but what it looks like if I'm going to add portrait rules, if I were to, so there's nothing in here right now, so it's not going to let me, but I can still set it up to come back and modify these rules later. But I can select the pages that I want to put kindergarten, and then I would get this indicator that lets me know I've changed the page type. So I like to always keep my pages labeled as well. And then these are now portrait pages versus freeform. Now the other type of another type of page that we have is an ad page as well. So we can enable our ad pages or our index pages as well. So typically those might be at the end of the book. And actually I need to add them up here, sorry about that. So index pages, they're their own thing, right? I'm gonna put this at the end. Finish. And then I would need to, and we'll get into this later, before I can enable my parent ads, I'd actually have to have some parent ad deadlines set. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm just gonna grab anything for right now. Let's say they gotta be done by the end of August. And I'll come back to these settings later. I just wanna show you how we can make the ad pages. So I'm going to, I have some ad rules set. So once that's done, I'll put these at the end of the book too, and we can test this a little bit more later. I'm gonna scroll down and put them right before the index. I'm gonna enable ads. So once you have ad rules set, you're gonna be able to convert the page to an ad page, which we'll go into a little bit more later, but those are our different page types. Now, at any time, if you want to add or delete a page, it's very simple. I can come right here and click in this little gear and delete the spread. If I want to, and you can see those page numbers updated right there. If I want to add some pages in, say I decided I want to bring something in here, I just create the plus sign and it's going to pop in a spread. So we have you add and delete in pages in sets of 2. So that's the only restriction on, page count with us. We have a minimum of 20 pages and you can add or remove in sets of 2. Now the page manager is where I get this aerial view of the book. I'll see if it's a portrait page. I'll know if it's an ad page as well, and I'll see that there. It's very easy to move things around. If I decide I want to reorder things, this page lets you play with it and get that aerial view and decide what you want to keep or get rid of. Now, this is the only place in our program that you need to save a change. So I can reset it here. And if I went to get out of here, it's not going to save unless I click save. So if I come back to the page manager, my moves aren't going to have stayed because I didn't save it. So I'll just show you that real quick and save it, and you'll see our move here. Got a question?
If you change your theme, is there an easy way to change the entire book, or do you need to add the new theme page by page?
You do add the new theme page by page. So we'll go ahead and let's see, I've done add, delete, and move, and page statuses is my one more thing, and then we'll jump in and I'll show you the themes and how you can select them and drag and drop them. But there isn't a universal update to the theme. You would need to select page by page or spread by spread. So over here, I can see assignments, right? This page was assigned to this editor, so my editor assignments are going to be visible over here. Also, your editors are able to mark ready for review, so this could indicate to you that your students have finished their work and they want you to look at it, or part of your team, whoever's on your team. So somebody, a senior editor or advisor, could come back in here and then lock this page. So once a page is locked, your editors, even if they're assigned to it, would no longer be able to access it. So this gives you a little peace of mind that, you know, once you've approved a page, your editors aren't going to be able to change anything. Now, senior editor or advisor is going to be able to come back in here and unlock and make changes. Got a question?
For adding and deleting spreads, what user types have access or ability to that, or is there a way to restrict to say just the advisor?
So the editors cannot add or remove pages, they cannot add or remove team members, and they can't add, they cannot delete photos too, I think. Does that answer the question?
I think so.
Cool. All right. I know that's scary, and just FYI, we keep every saved version of the book. So we have had people call and say, oops, I accidentally deleted something. Give us a call. We can, revert back to an earlier version of your book. So nothing's truly lost. We can help you fix it as well. All right. So I think I'm going to pop in and let's jump into looking at these themes, right? So I'll just jump onto page 1 here. Now, we have what we call templates are our themes. So we have not only different book designs here, and there's quite a few to choose from. So I'm just kind of scrolling down so that you can see what's here and, open them up and preview what they look like. The thumbnails don't show you is the photo placeholders, but this is what it looks like if I was going to swap. I would just drag and drop and take a look at what's there. It's easy to quickly undo as well. And then inside each theme, you can see art that goes along with it. You can also see various backgrounds, so you can swap and modify all of this, as well as the layouts that are in there too. And sometimes those take just a second to load. Something else I'll point out too is we always come out with this great retrospect content each year in March, typically early March, I think is when that drops. Mid-March. But this is great content that is unique each year. We have different spreads on the news or entertainment. We happen to be an Olympics year here. We do these fun, what can you do with for the year? So this is all content that's ready to go, but not only is it ready to go, but you can, it's a layout. So this is an image here. This is a text box. You can modify these, maybe swap these out with some different factoids that you've come up with that may be more fun for the students, although chicken nuggets are pretty fun. Who doesn't like chicken nuggets?
I've seen people swap the colors too, like the backgrounds and that pink. So
yes, so if you want to update this fill color, right? Say I want to pull something off, I'm not into the pink, right? It's easy to modify and just make it yours. So there's a lot of great content in there. Everything, nothing caught. There's no cost to any of this. It's just here for you to use and modify if you'd like. Another great thing in the templates is the ability, this was what I was kind of referencing before, if I really want to keep something hidden, I can have content in another book that I could simply bring over from another book. Now, one thing I will point out is when you're working in Creator Studio, we look at everything either as a spread or photos. So if, or photos, pages. So if I have a spread that I'm working with, I'm only going to be able to import spreads from a previous project. Now, I can see that these are probably individual pages, but over here in advanced, I am able to convert this spread to pages. When I do that, it would change what I'm able to import. Now I can import pages. Like if I just wanted to bring in this page, it's only going to apply to the right side versus if I bring over a spread, it's going to apply to both sides. So if I had been working on some secret pages over in this other book, I can bring it right over when I'm ready, and I've already maybe kicked out my editors for final proofing. So this is where we, in the templates, can import from previous designs, as well as our pre-designed content is here, but everything is, you're able to modify and mix and match too. You don't have to stay in one or the other. Maybe there's a spread that's got something that makes sense for an event for you. So there's some really great content in here that makes it easy to pull a book together quickly. Layouts are just that. So they don't have all of the artwork. It's more placeholders. I look a lot at collage layouts, right? So again, if I'm in a spread and I want to use a spread layout, I can toggle back and forth here. But if I come down here and apply a spread layout, it's going to convert my pages back to a spread. So spreads also, and I will go ahead. So this is an option because I just want to clear everything that's here and overwrite it. I'm going to say, don't save anything. Now it's going to try to snap in whatever photos were there into my layout, but I can easily change things. So down here in my media tray, I'm going to go into, I think art is where I had some other things. So if I want to swap things out, just drag and drop, and I'm going to get a photo on a page. I'm going to go ahead and just change this up too, replace the photo. I do like to point out in this case, this is a spread. I would want to make sure that I did not have this space right here in the gutter. If I'm going to have, this type of layout, I'm going to select this photo. I'm going to bring up my cropping and positioning tool, and I will slide this folder over so that her face is going to safely show in this area. So while I'm here with a photo selected, I can see my, my grabber tools over here. We have this great accordion menu, but you can flip things here. We can layer things.
Is there a revision history type of thing, tracking of who does what on a spread?
So what we have, let's go back to our layout, is you'll be able to see the last change when it was last updated. But what is coming is a history. It's actually live in our Creator Studio Lite right now, so that you would be able to, there's like a history export here on your team section. So you're going to be able to see a history of changes. And I think that's rolling out maybe even next week.
Yeah,
too.
I think next week.
Yeah, so that's coming. You'll be able to export a report and see what changes were made on any given page and what your team was working on. So that is coming imminently. And let's see, so let me get back to my ladder and where we were here on this spread. Now, just a few other things that I wanted to go over with the photos. We can expand this to see the coordinates. We have our drop shadow. You can toggle these on or off. You can dial in some custom adjustments. You can change the color with it. And again, you would have a history in here of any colors that you've been working with. If you want to use a previous color, you can also apply it to all photos on the page or spread. And again, I can just keep scrolling down. We've got our stroke or border here, toggling that on, change the thickness. And again, all photos on the page or spread. We've got opacity here that I can change. I can also make it a shape or put some funky corners on it. So that is working with your photos here. And again, we've got the ability to apply to all on the page or spread. This is rounding those corners. So just some modifications that you can do with a photo. Now, moving on.
Jaima, when you have a moment.
Yep, oh, sorry.
Can you go back to templates for Gwen and show where you can see all of the themes as well as the retrospect? And so Gwen, the retrospect will always be the first theme up in templates.
Yep, right at the top,
Right
easy
at the
to
top,
access. Yes.
And you'll have access to the previous years until mid-March.
And we do also have this junior version too. I didn't scroll all the way down, but I think this is also good to know that, you know, it's a little bit lighter and some more fun this or that things down here too. And these great, you know, my year recap where the kiddos can fill that in are also here. And you can, let's see, I'll just pop through some different pages, but these are fun too. I think these are always nice little, okay, I have to, you know, move something around. Another question that I get on moving stuff around, you know, individual pages, the only way to really move the individual page is through the importing, right? So I can import from the book that I'm in, right? So if I wanted to move page 1 to page 7, I would essentially copy it first. Then I would be able to go back to that page 1, and put whatever I wanted here. So that's a 1-page move.
Rhonda would like to know, is there a way to work with a color palette, like search for backgrounds that only match the theme palette?
Yes, so let's take a look. There is in backgrounds, you know, not only can you upload your own if you had pre-selected it, when I go to find backgrounds, I could have added by my team, right? So that's one way to just curate your own backgrounds there. But also you can search by color down here. You can filter for different colors. There are also different search terms in here that we have in our guidebook too. But there's, when you select any object, you can see over here that there's search terms, right? So I can see this is part of Doodle. I can also copy anything that I like into a folder. So I can, like, if I'm gonna use this Doodle in my theme, you know, I can copy it there and bring it in for other use.
I think to answer the next question, can you show them how to access all of the art and collateral within the theme?
Mm-hmm. So I'm going back into templates. I'm going to get out of that import area. And, you know, if I'm in here for, oops, I passed it, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, it is alphabetical. I can see all the different backgrounds here, and I can see all of the art so that it's already organized and here to work with quickly. And it's just click and drag. Does that answer our question?
I'm gonna respond to Gwen and we'll see if that answers her question.
Okay. All right, great. So while I'm on here, I just want to, so we talked about art is here as well. So if again, I'm just working with this doodle, so I can get in here and search doodle, and there's going to be a lot more to work with as well. So you can get up here into an advanced search and look at some different categories. Our team did go through a big art project. There's a ton of stuff in here. And if I were, for example, liking this, like a foil balloon, I have to spell it right. I'm going to get to all these foil balloons. If I just wanted to look at version 2, I can look at just version 2 for these green ones. So pay attention down here when you're searching for whatever art you're looking at. You can save your search terms to get to more of what you want. Now, there's also elements like your text box, your empty photo box, and lines. We've also got shapes here. So if I want to pull a line over, once I have it on the page, whoops, I'm going to undo. I didn't mean to grab that item. All right, I'm going to bring a line back over. So once I've got this line, I can change the size, but I've got this same accordion menu. Can change the thickness. We can make it dashed or dotted as well. You can have caps if you'd like, square or round. And you can also lock items into place or remove them. Right there, we've got our shapes. We're gonna do some like color blocking maybe. If I wanted to make something here, I can modify the fill color, grab a different color, just I'm gonna pick up something from the history here, but you can also plug in your specific numbers from your color palette, and then I can send it to the back and do my layering there. So again, we've got our elements here, we've got our shapes, our lines, our empty photo boxes. I don't think I showed you what that looked like, but you can resize these and, you know, have something ready for like a group shot or whatever it may be. But I do want to point something else out here. On layouts, if you have something that you want to save so that you can reuse it, you can always save your current layout, and I can give this a name, front page. And I would be able to save it. And then when I filter for my layouts, I can take a look at my layouts, and I would have something here that I worked with that I can recycle and reuse again. So that is always a great feature to curate layouts that you want your team to reuse by just saving them. Even if you didn't modify some that were there, it just helps your team use what you'd like them to use for layouts. All right, let's see. I think I've got everything in this section, so I just want to take a pause and see if we've got any additional questions on some of these editing tools.
One suggestion that we just made for somebody looking for some more info on templates is you can always create a separate project for your kids to play around in. So they're not in your actual project, so they can go through all the templates, they can throw them on the pages, they can see what they like. And do some test pages in there without impacting the rest of the book.
Yes, absolutely. And whether you do that in a separate project or sometimes advisors just add some test pages at the end of the book that they know they're going to come back through and delete and let the kids play around on those pages too. So, but yes, definitely great options, and that we don't restrict you on how many projects. Yes.
Can you update a saved layout?
Yes. Well, you can just save it again and then, or delete it, right? So if I got in here to my layouts, we would be able to remove it. I think I'm on a spread now, so I don't see it. With this X box right here, I could just remove it so I don't have layouts that are outdated anymore. And you could just resave it once you fixed it the way you want it. All right. Are we ready to move on to people pages? All right. This is I need to get logged in. So this is a little bit special because we've got some new things coming that our team is very excited about. And I'll just, before I get into the other book, previously, we could only manage the portrait rules from here. So we would have to come out to the ladder and manage the portrait pages. And the people and managing people was always done in this area. So you had to kind of navigate around to these particular places to get it done. And then you're gonna see something that's a little bit different when I jump into our dev environment here. So let me just get signed out of this book. And I'm gonna pop into, okay. I'm gonna have to sign out.
Angela said that she was not able to update or delete layouts made to pages last year. So I'll just mention for everybody too, if you're experiencing something that's not normal functionality, you can reach out to your account manager, your sales rep, or we have a customer support line that's open for 10 hours a day outside of yearbook season, and then March through June, 12 hours a day. And we just implemented live chat in the designer to Jaima, which would be good to show.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did not have that on my checklist. Well, and I do have to say that I know this feels like a lot, and I usually break this up. You know, we'll probably do our initial kickoff call and just go through the getting started. So normally this is better done in doses, and you get your chance to play around a little bit. But we do want to cover as much as possible so that you guys really feel comfortable jumping in and playing with the software. So I do have a book created here for us to take a look at. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this project. It's going to look very similar, and it's almost ready to be released. So let's see what we got here. So I'm going to first pop into the people manager. So now that I have some folks in here already, you'll see that I'm able to filter for the people that I want. I can select somebody, I can edit them, I can modify what's here if somebody got put in a wrong grade or I want to create a homeroom. Something else I want to point out here is priority. So this is something that's very new and exciting, is for us, is that we can set the priority for what order they're supposed to flow. So priority 1 is going to go at the front of whatever rules we've set, and then priority 2 would follow, and anything without a priority or null would follow in line after any priority. We do have multiple custom info fields that will be supported with our layouts. So really the only difference between these custom infos are that some are going to accommodate more characters. And I think if Charles is on, if he can maybe drop in the chat what those character limits are for the various custom info boxes. But the idea for this is that the first one is more like a title, right? If we just want to flow a title under the staff page, whereas custom info 2 might be a quote. And I think custom info 3 is more like a little bio. So these are going to be for those outgoing class pages for the most part, aside from titles. So let's get into, I guess while I'm here, let's go ahead and go over what importing the PSPA looks like. So I can add a new one-off person. If I want, somebody wasn't here, I can browse for their photo and drop them in the grade that I want them to go to. I can also import the PSPA. So I need to grab that folder. And let's see, I brought these guys in.
Rhonda would like to know an example of when you would need to use priority. A lot of people sometimes want to put multiple classes on the same page. So that would be the number one reason, right, Jaima?
That or teachers with aides.
Yeah.
I think that's probably even more common. I have my teacher and I have an aide or 2. Teacher would be priority 1, aides would be priority 2, or maybe 2 and 3 if there's a preference of who goes first over those 2. That would be most common, but yes, also those multiple classes per page. You've got the smaller classes, you got the AM, PM class, and you want to flow this class first and then another class. So that would be what we're thinking there. So what's new is this year. So we used to just take whatever was on the index and just bring it right in. What's neat this year is that we're able to actually match fields. So we can, if something isn't right, we can come in here and switch it up before we bring it in, and match what we want. Another way this might be important is maybe you updated your index with bios or titles or something like that, that's not standard on the typical PSPA data. So you would be able to bring in those titles and, say you took, you used a form to collect quotes or bios, you can merge that all in so that you're not copying and pasting off of a spreadsheet. So that is super exciting for us to be able to match the fields. We often also frequently get PSPA data that's different from photographer to photographer. It's not always in the right format. So this allows us to fix it without having to really work that index file. So for us that do a lot of the portrait importing, helping our advisors, which I would like to point that out, we are happy to upload your portraits for you and walk through all of this with you and have a discussion about how you want your portraits laid out. We're happy to create a custom layout for you as well for these portraits. So you tell us a look that you like and we can help create a custom portrait layout and pull it through. So that priority thing is very exciting for us. And then I'm going to pop over into the ladder to show you how we can set rules while we're editing, which we haven't been able to do before. So I'm just going to come into a page that I haven't started yet and show you what that looks like. So over here on the left, we have this new beautiful thing when we're on a free form page as we default to, right? I can see I'm on page 10. I can look at my ladder, see I'm highlighted here and where I'm at in the book. But when I click on portrait rules, it's going to show me the portrait rules that are already assigned in this book. But I can assign new rules here. I can also edit rules that are on other pages. Maybe I've decided I don't want these there anymore. So, I can move them to the page I'm on. I'm gonna say, put them on page 10, and then finish. I think I actually cleared it out, but because it says grade is null because I deleted it, right? So now it's telling me that people don't fit. So if I come in here, I need to choose what I want for this page. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick number 5. It tells me I have 19. So I'm going to go ahead and pick 20 so that they all fit on the page. And I do need to give it a title. So it's not letting me move forward because I need to give this a title. Now it's going to let me move forward. And that title is just for me so I know what rule I just set. And I'm going to come down here and say finish. We're going to stay on page 10. So now I just need to add a layout. So I'm going to go ahead and come into here. I need to reset my rules there. Okay, there's my 20. But when I set my rules, not all of these functions, see how it says, so I'm on this one right here. I'm going to need to edit. Maybe I just need to refresh because I think I tricked my dev environment here, of course. Delete these other ones and we'll start over here. And so we're not confusing it. All right, there we go. Now that I have one, we're going to edit this. I'm just refreshing here to get back into my rules. All right, so I've got these matched. Is Charles saying what's happening to me here? There we go. All right, now I'm going to bring my layout back on. I think I had the same rules on 2 different pages, so this dev environment didn't like that. So selected page, here we go. It told me my people didn't fit, now they fit because the layout's there. So that warning is going to let you know if something is going wrong. Now, let's say that I want to bring somebody to the front of this section. I'm going to come in here to edit people, and it's going to default and filter to the rules that I have set on this page. So I'm going to see my 19 people here, but let's say I want to bring Layla up to the front of this section because maybe she's my teacher. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 1 in for her and click save. That's going to refresh. And once I close out of here, you can see that she's moved into the front position. Now I could do that again with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once I am here on a layout, I'm able to edit this layout. Let's say I want to make some space for a little header. I'm going to be able to just knock out that space and it's going to push everybody down. So Layla's still in front, and then I'm moving in alphabetical order from there. And I'm able to, come in here into my art, and let's say I pick 6th, and I'm going to put a little element there. And then I can resize and fit it or turn it or whatever I want to do here. But now I've made space. Now, if I want to edit this again, and if I was to remove another box and apply, I'm going to get my warning back that I'm missing a person. So it's going to let us know that we're leaving somebody out that has applied, that matched the rules that we set for this page. So I'm going to go ahead and just undo that. Some other features I want to show you: when it's a portrait page, you're able to modify what we're doing for the font, and you can apply it to the page or the portrait group. You can change the font here. Not all of the fonts are supported in portraits, only ones that are gonna print well under here. So, but I think most of them work. There maybe only is a few that doesn't work. And I would just be careful that whatever font that you're choosing is supporting any special characters in your names. All right, so we can add, add and edit people with priority. So aside from just editing people, right? So I edited a person there. I can also add a new person. If I say, whoops, I'm on this page, I realize I'm missing little Johnny, I can come in here and grab his photo, quickly add him to, let's just see, we'll just test this with somebody here. Let's just grab one of these nice graduates here, little Johnny. And he's in grade 5. And I would also be able to add a priority here and click save. But he doesn't fit. But there he is. He just popped into place, position 2, and I pushed out the last person here. But I could also just reapply a layout to get that person back in. But you can see how the priority is working there. All right, so I think that's some of the biggest changes around the people pages, are just the fact that all this is accessible right here when you're working on the page, instead of having to exit out to the top of the ladder to apply rules and to go out to the people manager to manage people. So we can manage people here and rules right here while we're working on a page without having to go anywhere else. Any questions on priority, editing? We're looking good.
I have lots of prod questions when we get back in there. We'll need some time.
You have lots of what?
Production questions when we get back in there. So let's make sure we save some time.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. One last thing I want to show you on people pages. So also same thing here with layouts too, with people pages. So I can build my own grid, but if I want to edit a layout, once I've got it the way I want it, all I have to do here is save it, and that will allow me to quickly apply my layout to other pages as well. We do have a lot that you can choose from, but you can also build your own grids, and we'll be refreshing all of these layouts too to give you more options with these priority and custom field boxes as well.
It's also 100 characters, 200 characters, 300 characters.
Yes.
So
all right.
very easy to
Right.
remember on the
Okay.
front, on the 1, 2, and 3.
I will not forget that now. All right, great. So let me just get back into our people manager, the main people manager. I want to just go over this, my yearbook photo and what it is. So if I want to request, right now I don't have any eligible people, but to use my yearbook photo, you need to have an email address in here to work with. So if I get back in here, I want to show you what this looks like. Hello, Elias. Thanks
Hello,
for
Jaima.
joining us.
Thank you.
All right. So let me get back into our people manager. I think it took me back to my last spread. So if I want to be able to request photos, I'm going to need to have an email address in here. So I'm just going to grab a few of these guys. And this is also how we can make, actually, that is not a bulk change option. But I'm going to put an email address in here. So maybe somebody had a bad photo or something, or mom said, hey, I don't want this photo, I want another one. So I could send a link and request a photo. So if there's an email address, and actually maybe this isn't working in the dev environment because, but basically and I have to get into another account too, so I'll show you that, and it's getting stuck on me too. But when I get back into a real account, I'll revisit that. So the main purpose of this was to do people pages, but you can import people and requests. So this came around from COVID, but what a lot of my advisors use this for now is for collecting baby photos. So I've already imported my portraits, but I want to ask my 8th graders or my 6th graders, my outgoing class, for their baby photos. So I can import a list of all of those kiddos with an email address for either them or their parents. It will send them a link. When they upload that baby photo, it's going to come back and be associated with that student data. So it's easy to flow them onto a page and not build a baby page. All right, let me just see. Am I missing anything, Charles, on the new?
I think you're good.
Okay. I want to get back into a real book. So before we move into the ads, but I will pause and we can talk about some production questions,
Yes.
Which is perfect timing when we move into the storefront anyways.
Yes, one of them is right around the storefront, so that's perfect.
Okay, great. So that's good timing on it. All right. So let me just get into our regular link here. And I'm gonna pop into my school's account. So this is a back way. Since I don't have her password. So we can jump in and impersonate and look at your account with you at any given time. So this is my son's school, Binkley Elementary in Santa Rosa, California. As you can see, we always do student art. We also work off of a template. So our current 2026 yearbook is right now a template of the previous year. So if I was to open up last year's book, I can see that everything's locked down. You can see that we're 85 days past my estimated order date. We did order on time, and and I always build in more time as well. So you can still get in here and see all of this stuff here, but if you've ever had a mistake in your yearbook or whatever, that's also a great reason why you may want to copy a book. Maybe you don't, you want to edit for just a particular person. You can come in and make an edited version of the book and order a one-off. We've got a question.
Alan had some questions about the pricing on the dashboard. Could you review that and what those different numbers mean?
Yes. So our pricing is defaulted to retail pricing, which is transparent and on our website, so you can run the math on however many pages and whether you're offering hardcover or softcover. But like for example, And this is what we set our sales price at. So you can set your sales price for whatever you want. So we have a markup in our book, but because this book is posted for immediate orders right now, which we'll get into that in the storefront settings, we're not making a profit on the book, so we don't show one here. But if you're in a current project, right? So this project, we haven't started, we're not in school yet, it's just here and ready for us. We are gonna keep our same pricing. We did bump up our soft cover a little bit last year to accommodate some more pages, but you can see while we only make 45 cents on our soft cover, we make $9.91 on the hard cover, and we offer both. Now at our school, parents do know when they order the hardcover that they're supporting yearbooks for everybody. So we do fundraising with ads and with marking up sales in order to help provide cash sales books and books to give away for kiddos who can't afford a book. Every single year for the past 5 years now, we've been able to provide everybody a book, regardless of whether they could afford it or not. So that's always a mission of ours, but I know that's not the same for everybody, but that's the pricing that you see. I do encourage, if you're interested, let us know. We do have volume discounts. There's discounts that you can get. Once the price is set in here, the only reason the price would change is if you start adding pages, right? So if I were to add a spread here and I go back out to the dashboard, you can see that I've just wiped out most of my profit.
And then that additional pages kind of has disappeared now because you've used your price.
Right. So this makes sure you always have a positive budget, right? Like if you see a red number there, which we do allow you to go in the red because some schools do subsidize the cost of their yearbook to bring it down. So they might have run a fundraising project or something and they know they're selling it for less than cost. So you are in control. You can only go negative on a pre-order though. So once it's already been published and you're in published ordering, you cannot go upside down. We don't allow people to accumulate a debt while they're selling and published ordering. Okay, so that's pricing. Pricing is transparent, it's there. It can change if you add or delete pages, right? So if I come back in here and I remove that spread that I added, I'm gonna get it right back and see my profit again here on the dashboard where it should have been. Question.
So we have a two-part question. Somebody is asking to see tagging photos and how you tag photos. And then in addition to that, is there a way to determine how many times a student appears in the yearbook?
Yes, so I'll bring in, I'm gonna make a copy. That way I've got some actual student data in here. So this actually might take just a second to copy.
And Jaima will show how easy it is to just copy your project
There
on.
you go. I'm gonna leave the parent ads in here. 62. This April Fools. We do a 9x12 book as well. So obviously I will bring up this point. If you start with a 9x12 and decide you want to change the size of the book, that is the one thing you cannot change. So make sure that you know we do offer the two sizes, the 8.5x11 or the 9x12. If you choose a different one and you've got work done and you want to move, you will have to rebuild wherever you're at. So do make sure that you are creating the right size project for you. And this is going to take just a second. And I'm going to refresh in just a second. I have not been having amazing success with our internet here too, so.
It's a little slow in here.
I'm gonna go ahead and see if I refresh it. Come on. Just wants to keep bringing it back in here. I think that's why I disconnected before I dropped the internet. Where are you? All right, we'll come back to, see, I've lost the internet, right? What's going on?
It's always tough to make a presentation.
I was like,
especially-
something has to break for me
Well, I
today.
mean, we're in a hotel.
Yeah.
It's,
Hotel internet is not always the most
it's
reliable
always the most
internet.
reliable internet.
I'm just gonna sign out. And we're gonna get back in, see if that works. Strange. Oh, there it is. All right. It's just,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
delayed. Okay, so here's our copy. Let's pop in to look at, so I have some people in here, right? I'm assuming we're talking about tagging for the index, or are we just for counting people? All right, let's.
Tagging people for counting people.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's just get in here. Let's say, I'm just gonna jump into my son's class as an example. And so this is my son here. No, that's not his photo. Where is he?
Yeah.
I was like, I can't even see. I need to get closer. All right, well, we're gonna tag him anyways. Here is, so right here, we don't know who this is, right? Because this is a candid photo on a portrait page, right? And this is one of those instances where we might want to have a priority, right? So if I come here and I want to tag this photo for counting purposes or for index, either way, if I start typing Lucas in here, I'm going to have his name pop up. And then now he's here, right? His name is here. Now, if I go to the people manager and I'm in here, there's a way of showing if somebody is in here fewer than whatever time, like if you want them, if, you know, who's in here, you know, 0 times, you know, maybe this kid was, maybe he didn't want to be pictured, right? So we left him out, but it's always good to filter for that to make sure that anybody that is in your people is flowing. But you're able to tag and you can search too for it'll show you right here how many times they're in the yearbook, right? So even if I wasn't just searching for him, and it would let me know the pages that he's on too. But you can just filter this way too, right? So if I wanna, I can see that all these people and what pages that they're on and how you can easily keep track of the count and tagging here. Does that answer our question?
It does, but you've created another question on what is an index.
Okay, so the index is what's in the back of the book, right? That's going to, that you can print and it will tell you who's on what page, right? So if I wanna, I guess I would have to actually add some pages down here that I could put it on. And I need to do it ahead of the add section. Usually the index is at the back, but if I come up here, I can create my index pages at the, I think these are what I was going to use, and finish. Once I've done that, I can come down here to rebuild the index, and it's going to let me choose my columns and height and how I want, you know, the font or whatever to look. But if I were to save and enable, it's going to generate my index. So if you have done a great job, and I need to play with, obviously, I picked the too big of a font for my columns, but it's going to let kiddos be able to search and find themselves in the yearbook. That was a quick and dirty one. It needs to be prettied up.
We also didn't fully answer the tagging of photos questions, it looks like.
Okay.
We'd like to see how to actually tag the photos to get them to populate in there, I think.
For,
Like, how do you get that count to go up?
so we would just, so if I'm gonna go on to like a candid spread, right? So, so again, I'm gonna go to photo info. I know this is Katie Katie Prosser, so I'm gonna tag her and she's tagged. And that is what's gonna change the count. So everybody is default tagged for their portrait photo and everybody else needs to be manually tagged. I know sometimes teachers just wanna make sure their kids, and they're one other time in the yearbook, you know, I've got their portrait photo and I've got each kid tagged one other place in the yearbook or 2 other places, whatever it is, and they kind of stop there versus doing it to build the index, a thorough index, right? So there's 2 purposes for the tagging. Did that finish and you can tag multiple people, right? So if it's a group shot, you know, you can tag multiple times, but the tag is here in the photo details. And once a photo is selected, I would see that that's Katie Prosser because it's been tagged.
I think what they're asking is normally when you tag on Facebook, you're actually clicking on them, but that's not how our tagging works. Our tagging is who's in the photo. You don't actually have to click
Tag
on
it in the specific spot,
In the
you
spot,
mean?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's just really counting that photo and connecting it to the person
Yeah.
for the count.
So the benefit of that is you don't actually have to click on each
Person,
face
you just
yeah.
click on the photo
The
once.
photo
Yeah.
itself that they're in.
And there is no facial recognition, so it is tagging each of the photos. And then also we have a question, if you don't know who the student is in the candidate, you could either not leave it tagged or have your yearbook team or give
investigate,
people
yeah.
access to investigate into that.
And on that, as far as giving access, I want to show this really neat feature, which I love. At any given time, oops, let me get back into that project, I went too far. Right here, you can request a proof. You can also, anytime, the proof is gonna automatically default to go into the advisor, but like if I wanted to like copy my principal or copy me, I tell people to copy me all the time. You want me to look at something, just CC me on your proof request and you can send that request that way. This generally takes within an hour, depending on how big the book is and how many photos that you have in there. But what's really great is this link gets emailed to you. So it's very simple to forward it to anybody that you want to look at. They don't have to worry about creating an account and signing in, but they're going to get a PDF version. There is a proof watermark on it, but you can it's very easy to print out, put it in the break room, let everybody take a red pen to stuff. You could even circle a face. Who's this? Somebody write their name in for me, you know, so that's an easy way of getting eyeballs on your book when you need to get help or have questions on people. Usually once I get my portrait pages done, I take a screenshot or send the PDF proof link out to all the teachers and just say, hey, please review your class and email me back with any changes that I need to make for you.
I think that was it on tagging. We
Okay.
have some additional questions on the index now,
Okay,
which is, can you manually adjust the index and will it autocorrect? Last year, he added some student photos next to the letter, so he needed more space between the names, ending and the start of the next letter section.
let's see. So if we want to rebuild it, I want to make sure I'm understanding the question too. Let me get back into the index settings here. We're talking about removing space to put other content on here. Is that the question? I don't know that we can do that. And if Charles is on, he might be able to let us know for sure, but let's just.
We can reach out. It sounds like we can have your account manager reach out to you
Follow up
as
on
well,
that.
Alan.
Yeah. But I don't think you can like remove space. It's not like the portrait pages.
Yeah.
Because I think it's got to keep a certain structure to it. But good question, and maybe that's a list item for Charles. wish list item.
And then Angela would like to know if you could expand a little bit more on the differences between the ladder and the legacy sections and what the differences are.
So with the legacy section book, what's different about it is you don't have any control over your photo folders. Your photo folders are directly created to match your sections. So you create new sections and you determine if it's freeform, portrait, or an ad section. And you determine the number of pages that are in the section. And then you can move sections around, you can move pages within the section. But what I would tell you to do is that if you want to see what it's like, just create a new project. Since you can do, whatever you like, once you fill this out and on the next page, just select the section book and you can see. What I like about the ladder book is it builds whatever page book that you want to start with. So if I know I want a 50-page book, I'm going to have a 50-page book to work with right away. And that's going to keep me in line with whatever I was planning. With a section book, you're going to start out with no pages. You have to go in and say, okay, section 1 is back to school and I want it to be 5 pages or 6 pages. One tip that I would give if you feel like the section book is something that you might want to work with is to keep your sections. Your first section could be a single page, but the internal and the first and the last section can be single. But if you keep the internal section page counts even, it's easier to move things around if you need to reorganize things later. But I do think that the ladder is the best way. It's just a little bit easier to make modifications if you want to reorder things and change things around. But it's pretty much functions the same otherwise.
In general, we are recommending to use ladder books to most schools though, right?
Yes, yes. It's the preferred way.
Yeah, the big benefit is you could use any photo in any part of the book in a ladder book, right?
Yeah,
and you can
move different, you can pull from different sections too. It works the same way as like pulling from a different photo folder. It's just going to default to whatever section you're in first. So you'd have to go in, like if I move pages and I moved into a different section, it's going to automatically.
So the process of managing photos is harder and more difficult in a section book and easier and faster in a ladder book. So we're trying to encourage people to move more toward a traditional ladder book, which is how most yearbooks are made.
Yeah, and I also think I like having the ability to create as many photo folders and subfolders as I would like. So I think I don't like to see any more than like 50 photos in a folder because then you're scrolling through too many photos at once, and it's better to have those A1 frameable photos really dialed in, that whatever you're pulling from out of those folders, you really want to put on the page, like curate them well. And it'll make it easier when you jump in to do your design.
And in reality too, there's a lot of benefits to a ladder book. Organizing your photos easier, access to photos easier. Architecturally, there's some speed in using a ladder book. So I know a lot of people started using section books in the past, but we are encouraging schools to start trying out ladder books. It is going to be faster for you going forward.
Yeah. So jumping in, and I'll come back to ads, but I want to start getting into the sales aspect and what this looks like. I started helping out with the yearbook my very first year at Binkley, and they've let me keep doing it. Imagine that. Right now, I did set up our current book for pre-sales. I'm a big fan of having the book up for sale all year long, having it ready for pre-ordering on that back to school night. Let parents know, give them plenty of time. Kids can ask for it for their birthday. If your birthday's in August or September, you can say, hey, will somebody buy me the yearbook as my gift, right? So I think it's always a best practice, especially if you're using the storefront, to give them plenty of time. So you can have as many stores as you want. Because we have been providing yearbooks to everyone for the past several years, we haven't really needed to have an archive storefront because everybody got one. But a lot of my schools do come in here and, have like a Binkley archive. I can put, but this is how easy it is to create. Now I could customize all this. I'm just going to move through it for right now. Let's say I'm going to put in this old book here. So now I have a Binkley archive. It's a separate link that you have here, so you don't have to worry about somebody getting confused with the current book. So this is our storefront link. We use it every year, so we don't have to, I think this is some sort of tracking thing on our URL that shows that, but this is the link that you share. And what's great about being it the same year to year is somebody might already come here and like wonder if the yearbook is ready to be ordered, and it's here. You know, the storefront is customized with our logo. It lets me know what are my upgrade options. We'll talk about that in a minute, but there's personalized pages and nameplates available. It lets me know what my order deadline is here. And I left this up here to show you what this looks like if you did keep the previous year up for sale. It's very clear that it is a prior year. But if I were to select, and I'm just going to go ahead and sign into my account. I updated my password because I forgot it. All right, so now that I have signed in to the storefront, if I were to order this book, this is a pre-order, right? So it's letting me know I'm pre-ordering the book. But if I were to go and order this book, I'm going to get this warning. You're ordering a book from a prior year. Do you want to continue? Because I have personalization enabled on an immediate order book, you order a personalized book up front. So you're going to have to work on those personalized pages and finish them before we're going to actually order the book. But it happens in reverse for a pre-order. If I were to order a book here, I'm going to come in and put in my son's name. I'm going to select his grade. He's going to be a first grader. I do have a donate a yearbook enabled here, but if I continue, I'm going to choose the soft cover. I'm going to say 1. I always take our free e-yearbook as well. You can turn that on or off. Some schools aren't comfortable providing a digital yearbook. It is an EPUB file that you read out of an e-reader like iBooks. And then I'm going to continue. It's going to so I actually already have my payment information saved. If you can enter a coupon or voucher code here, I'll show you how we can make a coupon. That's like, say you want to give staff a discount, or maybe you're giving away a free yearbook to some of your yearbook students or whatever it might be. You're giving them half off. Well, I'll show you where we create those, but I'm going to go ahead and place the order. I need to do it anyways, so I'm knocking this out now. I'm getting it done early. All right, so I just paid. I already had my payment information saved, so I didn't have to do anything there. So it says, thank you. I've got my order number. Any P order number means it's a pre-order. And then I can go back to the yearbook store. Once I'm here, I'm gonna be able to edit my personalized pages because I've placed my order. I can come back in here now, and every time I sign into the storefront, I can work on my son's personalized pages. Usually I do these in the spring. I put a little folder on my desktop and I add all of my favorites as I go throughout the year. But we have all these easy layouts to, if I'm gonna just pop into my collage layouts, and I can start building his personalized pages. Get my photos in here. Obviously, this looks very similar to what the editor looks like, but when a parent is working on these personalized pages, let's see.
We have a question on the white box on the back of the personalized page books. And I am happy to announce that we will be removing that. So sounds like some excitement in the chat for that.
I don't like it either. My kids have had a personalized book every single year. So I do go through, so I'm just grabbing a few photos just to show you what it looks like. Also very similar. You do not create photo folders and personalized pages. You just photo dump everything that you're gonna work with in here. Now that they're in here, I can start, dragging and dropping my pictures in here. But again, just like elsewhere, I can modify this and, change the layout. It's just a starting point. But we still have, you can still do your backgrounds in here. It's telling me I don't know what I'm doing. I gotta drag and drop, but but all of the same design features and fun art are gonna be in here. Let's see, got some baseball players here, so maybe I want to drop something fun in here like that. So anyways, these pages you can build and come back to, but essentially these pages you can finalize and submit when you're all done, but there is a base of 4 pages. So if you don't finish these 4 pages, they're gonna be white. Question.
We are at the end of the time, but
Okay.
this session will continue if people would like to stay on, and go into the breakouts a little bit later.
Here, I thought an hour and a half would be. But I think we covered everything really, and I would just wrap up with, in here, you are in total control of the settings at any given time. So you get a nice summary here. You can come back in here to change anything. I do recommend customizing your grades. I usually do have these in here with the teachers and homeroom. I will finish setting that up. This is also where you can generate your own coupon codes. This is you giving a discount on your sales price. And I will very quickly snapshot you into last year to show you what it looks like at the end of the year. You have this beautiful summary and
sorry, for Alan, can we show in the sales settings again the where to turn on nameplates?
yes. So if I get back into our 26 book, I'm going to go to sales settings and it's under product type and upgrades. So nameplates, you can toggle it on or off here. Personalized pages are here. Word on the street, cost is going down. I'm pretty excited about that too. And then you do have to decide name stamping or personalized pages. You can't do both. So the nameplates was our solution of being able to offer that name customization on the front along with personalized pages. All right.
We're good. We are caught up.
Okay, all good. Well, thanks so much for joining me today and walking through our wonderful Creator Studio. I know we didn't get to talk too much about Remember Me, but there are just a few features that are not available, and Remember Me, we're happy for you to reach out and we can explain those differences. But it's primarily the personalized pages and the ad portal and some different books that are available.
But we're happy to upgrade if the school decides that they would like to move up and take advantage of some of these features. We'd be happy to reach out. We can work with you on that to get you in the right software that makes sense for your school.
Well, thanks everyone.
Thank you, Jaima. Thank you, Lori.